The most beautiful and powerful of angels, a close friend of God's Son, full of majesty and nobility. This is how the proud Lucifer, the light-bringer, is often described. However, he later grows disdainful of the Creator's actions and rises against God's plan. Believing that his power and status can rival God, Lucifer decides to rebel against the cruel reign and declares that he will never submit to Christ's authority, vowing to defend his place in heaven by force. The rebellious servant also opposes the laws of the Creator, claiming that angels need no laws and are entitled to full freedom in both action and thought. This insane idea, however, would bring chaos to the heavenly paradise. Therefore, the Prince of Heaven decides to call upon loyal angels to overthrow the arch-rebel and his followers, casting them into the infernal abyss. The bringer of light and hope, without God's love, becomes the bringer of darkness. His followers are stripped of their wings and become those who need not be named. Demons. As the first creation to stand against God, he becomes the creator of sin, the prince of hell, the prince of pride, and the commander of endless legions of demons. How you have fallen from heaven, O shining star, son of the dawn! How you are cut down to the ground, you who laid low the nations! You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God, and I will sit on the mount of assembly, on the heights of the sacred mountain. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. But you are brought down to the realm of the dead, to the depths of the pit. A demon appearing in the biblical book of Tobias and the Talmud, Asmodeus holds the position of the highest banker and the chief commander of 90 legions obsessed with depravity and sexual frenzy in the infernal hierarchy. These two traits became his defining symbols after, according to one legend, he deceived King Solomon and dishonored his harem. In many books focused on occultism, Asmodeus is depicted as a beast with 3 heads, a bull's head, a human head, and a ram's head. He also has a serpent's tail, goose's feet, and flames shooting from his mouth. As if that weren't enough, he also rides a hellish dragon and wields a mythical spear with which he summons his servants to battle. The representative of the third deadly sin, Asmodeus has the power to possess young women and, through them, shatter marriages. According to one story, he is sexually attracted to pure virgins and protects them on their wedding night by strangling their husbands. The demon of lies, error, lust, and jealousy also seduced Eve, in the form of a serpent, into the first sin, leading to the damnation of mankind. The book Malleus Maleficarum describes his powers as all-encompassing. For those who pledge their souls to him, he grants invisibility and knowledge of astronomy, geometry, and arithmetic. First mentioned in the book of Enoch as a sea giant symbolizing primordial chaos and unyielding defiance against God, Leviathan takes on a physical form as a colossal monster during the apocalypse, embodying the element of water. Its extraordinary size is described in biblical texts as follows. When thirsty, it drinks so much water that the sea's strength will never be restored even after 70 years. And when Leviathan is hungry, it exhales such intense heat that the waters in the deep boil. At the top of the food chain, with no natural predators, the victims of Leviathan bear markings on their skin, foretelling their inevitable fate. I am one of the most fearsome creatures dwelling in the sea. I measure 300 miles in length, and on this day, I shall enter the jaws of Leviathan. According to Christian interpretation, this hegemony was shattered only by the Lord, who defeated the monstrous creature in an unequal battle and cast it into the depths of hell. By your power, you divided the sea, you crushed the heads of dragons in the waters, and you crushed the heads of Leviathan. You gave him as food to the creatures of the wilderness. Since then, Leviathan has been regarded as one of the principal princes of hell, specifically as the Prince of Envy, mercilessly punishing sinners guilty of this deadly sin. According to Father Sebastian Michaelis, the sea creature was even one of the seraphs that allegedly possessed Sister Magdalene in Aix-en-Provence and incited her to commit sacrilege. As one of the 4 idols, Leviathan in Satanism represents an oxymoron, a combination of 2 contradictory elements, namely order and chaos. It is also symbolically connected with water and everything related to it. The Lord of Flies, the closest lieutenant to the Prince of Darkness, and the self-proclaimed Archduke commanding 95 legions of demons on Judgment Day, spreading death and violence across God's domain. As the fifth in the infernal hierarchy, he is allowed to punish sinners guilty of gluttony and greed. The Lord of Dung takes the form of black flies, infiltrating the minds of powerful tyrants, unbelieving priests, and ordinary people, through whom he commits the most brutal atrocities. In the mid-16th century, demonologist Pierre de Loyer recorded the case of a possessed man from Lyon who was strangled by a swarm of flies during an exorcism. The name Beelzebub also appeared on the lips of the Salem witches during the most hysterical and final Great Witch Hunt in North America. Mentioned in both Jewish and Christian religions, Beelzebub in ancient times was depicted as a cross between a fly, a wasp, and a death's head moth, a nocturnal butterfly with a yellow pattern on its back resembling a skull. With the arrival of the medieval Inquisition, the demon's appearance was refined to include a serpent, a woman, or a man with a bull's head. According to the experiences of 18th and 19th century evokers, Beelzebub also has power over the great masters, politicians, dictators, bankers, and successful merchants, whom he influences, guiding their hands in important decisions after they pledge their souls to him. Satan, Wrath. The sixth figure in the infernal hierarchy, also known as the devil or hell, is, according to biblical texts, to rule over the entire inhabited earth in modern times. A spiritual being, likely a fallen angel, who with his arrogance defied the Almighty God, for which he was cast down to the earthly surface, where he began to lead humanity into lies and sin. Through his servants, he gains control over sinners, physically harms them, and assumes the role of judge and executioner in their lives. According to medieval writings, Satan rules over 68 hellish nobles, each endowed with mythical powers and an endless army of demons. As part of the unholy Trinity, the dualistic opposite of the Holy Trinity, he is a feared entity in demonology, often depicted alongside Lucifer and Beelzebub, and reaches his greatest power at 3 a.m. This time has been violently claimed and desecrated by hellish forces, as there is a long-standing tradition that Jesus Christ died at 3 p.m. Prince of Wickedness, or literally divider, as the embodiment of wrath, Satan seeks to exploit this human weakness through false signs and deceptions, using it to dominate the earthly world. The central figure of Satanism, Satan is worshipped as a symbol of strong individualism, monopoly, and intolerance. Thank you for joining me on this journey to the world of the five princes of hell. If you have any thoughts or questions, please share them in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about demons in popular culture, be sure to check out our next video where we introduce more demons, and it will be even more exciting